KLAW Lawton Fort Sill, KLAW 101, direct from the Easy Go Studios in downtown Lawton.
It's now time for the J&J Burke Home Show on KLAW 101. For the next 30 minutes, you'll hear information that will save you money around your house with your hosts, Eric Sherem and Jay Burke.
And good morning, Southwest Oklahoma. A little bit of cloud to start the day. Maybe a chance of rain, but we got a very busy weekend ahead, though. International Festival in full swing at Elmer Thomas Park. Go by and check that out, the sights and sounds, and I always say the smells of International Festival, because it's always the smell of great food. And they got Fist of Fury, the Great Plains Coliseum. You know, that's what I like, Southwest Oklahoma. You know, during the fall, there's lots of stuff to do. So for those who ever say, there's just nothing to do around here, you just need to get out and do some of that stuff. And I think we got a run. Isn't there a run coming out? Is that Spirit of Survival? Is that this weekend?
Yeah.
So
they've got roads ready to be blocked off, I guess, tomorrow. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. I think a lot of times we get caught up in the fact that, we think we have to go somewhere to do something. We have to go to Oklahoma City, or we have to go to, come enjoy the local stuff that we have. And those vendors, I mean, in the International Festival, there's over 30,000 people that attend that event each year.
Wow.
And the coolest part of it to me was what they had last night, was so many people were actually got their citizenship. And because of a military community that we live so very close to, they're able to have gone through all the rigmarole of getting to become a citizen of the United States. And maybe it's not rigmarole, but it's sure a lot of paperwork and a lot of stuff. And I don't know that I could recite half of what they have to recite and learn to be able to qualify to become a citizen. Most citizens don't even know who their elected officials are. So I don't know. The only one we really know probably is the president, and after that, it's pretty much who is the the next guy in line, and it's hard to sometimes remember. But go out and support it. There's great food vendors. There's people out there that are selling their different things, and there's really cool stuff for kids to do. There's event centers. There's like tents that have, they have all kinds of music and different dance and cultural dances, cultural things from different communities, from the Philippines to anywhere. They bring that stuff here to International Festival, and that's why Lawton is so cool, because we have so many different people that live here from all different walks of life. And if you want to talk about a melting pot, we are the melting pot of Southwest Oklahoma.
I was in high school, and I'm originally from Michigan, and we our historical society took a group down to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they had a huge international festival there. And I just remember, wow, it just was a big event. Like you said, with all the cultural diversity, with their dancing and the music that's played. And then, if you're a fan of food, which I am, I'm product of, that, I'm bouncing around from this cuisine to that cuisine. So, hey, this tastes pretty good. Let's try this, So.
And I've tried stuff there that I've never tried before. I mean, I thought, I don't just go there and say, hey, give me the regular,
Right. The most popular thing.
Yeah. I mean, so
meat on a stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I'll pass on that. But, they've got Korean food. They've got, all kinds of food. So, and really good stuff. They got some churches that actually come there and use that as a fundraiser for their church and cook. And I know the week before, they're always calling me saying, would you guys like to have, some orders of bulgogi? We'll deliver it to your office on Friday. And so we've done that every year. And the guys love it because and girls, they love it because, it's something different, something we don't eat every day. So it's pretty cool.
Good. J&J Burke Home Show each and every Saturday morning at this time from 9 until 9:30. Jay, give us an update of how things are going, especially with the rebates program we have both with PSO and CenterPoint Energy. We know that some of those are coming to a close, at least on the PSO side as far as funds are concerned. But if you're thinking about taking advantage of the rebate, how is it looking now?
Well, they gave out we get a weekly survey of how much money's left in each account, and right now, according to their rebate counts, the money in Southwest Oklahoma has basically been exhausted. But with that said, they had some money in Tulsa that was not used or has not been used, and it's a substantial amount of money that wasn't used. And I don't know why necessarily, but they're allowing us to transfer a little bit of that money down here.
Okay.
So we do have an option here to possibly, as I was told, just Jay, keep going. Keep working, keep calling people, and when they go out and call you about it, keep trying to get and we'll let you know when it's totally out. So it's still day to day. We don't know an exact number of how much
so
is
we've
available.
taken out our pot. We're done, but then a little bit of Tulsa money can float back this way.
And I fought last year for Southwest Oklahoma to get a share of the money. That was my big fight at the conference that we have every year, and how we're going to split the money up. And before, it was just a pot of money, and Tulsa just ate it up. I mean, we would end up with the pennies and the scraps, and so my goal was, hey, I'm the partner of the year, so listen to me a little bit. I think that we can do more jobs in Southwest Oklahoma, and we have some homes here that are truly in need of this program. And so I know the other day we did a home, and I may have told this story before, but we did a home that ended up getting PSO and CenterPoint rebates to the tune of almost $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it had 2 systems, changed over from electric to gas, got hot water tanks. 11 hot water tanks installed at 40-gallon are about a gas one is about $1,100, and CenterPoint gives you $900. So it costs you $200 for a new hot water tank if you change over to gas.
Right.
And then they give you $2,000. Yeah, $2,000 for every furnace. They bring the gas to your house. If you don't have gas, some people had old gas lines in their yard that had holes, and they got rid of it. And now PSO or CenterPoint has taken that, and now they run that to your home. And it usually
that's a good point, because a lot of people, when they were ditching it because of the holes and it was leaking in the backyard, and the only way to do it was to dig it all up.
Yep.
It was more cost effective just to change over to electric. So
just run an electric line and call it good and forget it. And I got a heat pump, and people are saying, I went to a house. I just went to a house yesterday that the lady said this thing freezes up all the time. It's about 12 years old. And another thing to really think about too is, what's the age difference between a heat pump and a regular, gas furnace, air conditioning kind of system? So in your home, a gas furnace with an air conditioner, which is in most homes in Southwest Oklahoma, they last anywhere between 15 to 20 years. That's the average. Now, I've gone to some houses, and I saw a picture of a Lennox unit the other day that I took a picture of that was 43 years old.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, 43 years
Still
old.
Working.
Still going.
Well, your Lennox people got to be happy about that.
Well, I took pictures, and I said, you guys want to see this? It's a relic. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool.
That needs to be in their little antique display. That's good when it does go up.
But when you go to those houses, usually most of those houses have heat only. They don't have air conditioning. They have window units or something like that. Because back in the day, we didn't have air conditioning in most houses. Unless you were rich, you didn't have air conditioning. You just had central heat, if you were lucky. And you didn't. When I was younger, we had floor furnace or wall furnaces, and
I remember those.
Yeah, and a lot of burns, a lot of things like that, and they were very unsafe. And lately too, we've been going to some houses, and I think this is something that we have to discuss. Is we go to some houses now that they have these things that they're freestanding units, and they're really units that are set inside the house. And about probably 10 or 15 years ago, a lot of people came out and said, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Just put these in when your furnace goes bad. Put this in and use this thing that produces, gas heat for you, and you're good to go. They're not designed for central house. They're not designed to go in your home to be your primary source of heat. They're designed for add-on little additions that have, really a lot of leakage, because they produce, not only do they produce some carbon monoxide, but they also produce a lot of moisture. So you'll see your windows sweating. You'll see a lot of stuff going on inside your house if you use those. If you have one, let us come look. They're dangerous to use as your only source of heat. And I had a customer, a little elderly lady that had one in her home, and kept wondering why in the world she was constantly sick. And we were able to take it out and put her in a gas furnace, and so much happier with the overall results. And she would even use it she told me she would, to try to get humidity in the air. She thought she didn't have enough humidity, which was just the opposite of what she had. She'd dry her wet clothes above that little standing heater. And so even now, if you remember in the old houses, we still come to them that have those wall heaters. the little wall heater in the bathroom that has the gas that kind of flows in the wall. Looks like it's flowing in the wall.
Now they don't do anything. They pull it out and they use it as a decorative piece.
Yeah, we have to cap them off. It's code. It's they're against the law now because they've caused so many house fires. So we have to actually take them off and cap them off in the wall. And so there's a lot of things that have changed. A lot of technology has changed, and a lot of safety issues have changed with fire safety. So we want to make sure that you're safe in your home when it's time to start up your heating system.
When you talk about humidity and you talk about people's windows fogging up, do you think that most of us just think, well, that's just weather related?
Yeah.
And they just kind of blame it on, well, I mean, it's just a fact we have to live in, as opposed to really getting down to why it's doing that.
Yeah. People don't know that it's really air infiltration. It's really leakage of the house. It's, we're introducing warm air inside the home and cold air from the outside, and it's getting in, and we're causing a moisture, and we're causing a sweat on our windows. I go to windows that are rusted up because they have sweat so much they've ruined the wood below the window.
Okay.
And really what you need.
But don't, like what I'm saying though, don't people just blame it? Well, colder weather and hotter weather, and that's just warped that and made it what it is, when actually we're causing the facts, causing the problem.
Yeah, we're not getting out the humidity is too high in the home, or we have a leak somewhere that's causing us to have when the heat from the heater starts to it takes out humidity. So the heater usually takes out humidity and dries out your home. But when you have a leaky fireplace or a leaky plumbing fixtures or leaky lights, stuff coming from the attic, this stuff starts to cause you to have mold and grow things, even grow stuff on your windows, let alone just the sweat. So it's a very bad health risk.
So what do we do?
Well, we've got to figure out ways to get you in fresh air. We need fresh air in the house. We need to circulate fresh air, and that's huge. Getting that air brought into the house. A lot of people today think they go out and they buy the best windows, they buy the best doors, they put the most insulation in their house. They even foam their attics. I've got a friend right now that's foaming his attic, and he called me and he said, "Jay, I'm going to foam my attic. Do I need to ventilate?" If you don't ventilate, I promise you, your home will be full of mold in your attic within a matter of a year or two. You will go up there and it will be a mold heaven, because it will be mold everywhere. And so they make a thing called energy recovery ventilators. They bring in outside air, they put it into your heavy usage areas where you have smells and where you have a lot of people, let's say in your living rooms. Sometimes they put them, even small ones, in your bedrooms. They put these little vents in, and this thing goes in your, in your attic or in somewhere in your home near your air conditioner or your heater. And then that thing, it actually brings air in and it sucks air back out. So the old stale air is brought out. So you're constantly bringing it in. And that's mold and bacteria, and those things don't grow if we bring in the right amount of air, fresh air, And with an ERV, a recovery ventilator, it doesn't just bring it in and throw dirty air into your house. It's filtered, it's tempered. So we end up having, we have a lot of units that if we lived in a place that have heat recovery ventilators, if we lived in a really cold place up north, you'd use the HRV instead of an ERV. And the reason you would do that's because it's too cold. You can't, in the wintertime, when you're wanting to introduce fresh air into your home, it was just so cold you couldn't do it. Now you have to tie it in, and it has special heaters that are inside the unit. Well, now energy recovery ventilators are basically to bring it in, introduce the heat. Now, I will tell you this. I've gone to some houses that they've done it before, and they didn't figure in the ERV as part of their load. And what I mean by that is, you have a 3-ton unit, and now you're going to add a half a ton of air from outside. And so now you may need a 3.5-ton unit to add that in. Sometimes you don't. We go to more houses than not that are oversized than undersized. We very rarely go to a house that's undersized in air conditioning. But adding an ERV is very important to keep your house, ventilated right, because it can cause major problems with health conditions. Major.
What is, I think briefly you got me thinking about it when you say most of us are oversized. And I think that most of the time, what's the important about having the right sizing? Because, you're going to have someone say, well, this will take care of it because, it's only need a 3-ton, but we're going to give you a 4-ton because we're going to give you the maximum amount. And that sometimes is not the good idea. That's not really the best route.
Just the opposite of what we want to do.
Then tell us why.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing I think is that when people go out, some heating and air companies come out to your home and they say, well, I've never had heating and air in that back rooms, that, the rooms that are the farthest away from my heater, and they stay cold in the winter and they stay hot in the summer, and I just can't get them right. That's balancing. That's putting dampers in and getting the airflow right. It's not that, hey, all of a sudden I need to go from a 4-ton to a 5-ton or a 2-ton.
And I think that's what most people think. It's kind of like powering your engine. I need more power, so that's what'll get me going.
Exactly. Blow more air. It'll help. And they put the bigger unit in and they say, well, it helped a little, but it still didn't fix it. And then you go to find out, well, really, you needed, instead of going to a 4-ton, you really needed a 2.5-ton. We needed to seal your house up. We needed to fix your ductwork. Leaky ductwork is the biggest culprit in any house of why we're there, and we talked about this with the PSO testers that we brought in a few weeks back. They're exactly right. If all your heating and air is leaking into, and sometimes we say all your heating and air, it doesn't mean no air is coming out of your vent. That's not the case. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that there's so much leakage in your attic, and there's so much leakage in your walls as that stuff is starting to happen, that you're losing efficiency. So your unit runs longer and longer and longer and just never stops and keeps running. And so you're just paying more and more and more. And not only that, the indoor air quality becomes horrible because you've got leaky duct and it's sucking in all that dirt and attic dust and insulation dust and throwing it through your entire home. And people will say, my allergies are killing me. I have, my nose has been bleeding. My throat hurts. And now that we're coming up on the heating season, that's one of the things we wanted to talk about today, was humidification in homes. A lot of times we hear people say, I hate to turn my heater on. And I'll say, why? And they'll say, well, because every time I turn my heater on, it makes me, I always feel sleepy. They do. I always feel sleepy.
And crank up the heat.
It's warm and sleepy, And not only that, but, I start sneezing and my throat hurts all the time and my skin is so dry and I get nosebleeds and my husband snores 100 times worse than he ever did. So we hear it all the time, but we can solve a lot of that by the right type of humidification for your home. And there are so many options with humidification that you can't believe. You can go to one of the big box stores and you can walk in and you can buy a room humidifier. And that's great and all. That, a lot of times when you have a young child, you put the doctor will say, get a humidifier and stick in the room with the child because the child needs more humidity in the air, and there needs a humidifier. Usually those are little steam humidifiers. You've seen them that just produce.
I've seen them on the tabletop.
Yeah, the little poofer comes out and it does that. Well, that's okay. Just got to make sure you keep them clean. You got to use distilled water. Try not to use tap water. There are things like that you can do to help make it better for the breathing of your child. But go by what the recommendation is on a lot of times we, as parents, what do? We go buy something. We don't ever read the directions. We plug it in, pour water in and say, that's what they told us to do. Read the directions. They tell you, use distilled water, do certain things to help keep all the problems down. But humidifiers come in a million different ranges, Eric. I think probably a humidifier a lot of times is a Band-Aid for air infiltration, bad infiltration, infiltration into the house. And so when I say that, I go to attics and there's a humidifier in the attic already. It's already installed on the heater and on the unit, and it's covered in moldy, nasty looking stuff hanging off the humidifier. And first thing I think is, okay, if you're not sick from that, you may never get sick. But they're hanging there and they haven't been maintained, and they're just like your regular central heat and air system. They've got filters in them. You've got to take care of them. You cannot let them just put it up there and think, I have a humidifier. I've put a standalone humidifier in my home before, and those filters get dirty about once a month, and you got to throw it away. And put a whole new filter in there that then it soaks the water up and holds the water while the air blows across it. But I would suggest that when you're looking for a humidifier, look for what type of humidifier you're wanting, and I would suggest a whole home humidifier, which is something we really request that you try to get. We try to put it in your return, in the side of your system where we can actually hook it into your duct system and make it work. So when your heater comes on, it is coming on. Now it doesn't run on its own when the heater's not on, because we really don't need it. We need to offset the amount of, a heater can actually, with higher humidity, can actually feel warmer than heat with dry humidity. You put a humidifier in a house that's only got 30% humidity, and the temperature, the heater has to run harder, and because it's not able to keep the temp up as high as you want it to be. But you can add 3 or 4 degrees easily by adding a humidifier to your home. It'll, instead of having to leave it set at 72, you may be able to set it at 70 and stay just as warm as you were before, because you've added humidity to the house.
What's the best way for us to know? I mean, how do I know which direction to go?
Well, obviously we think we're the people to talk to, and I'll come out and talk to you about humidification and cleaning your ductwork and doing those things that are going to get it ready. There's no reason to put a humidifier on a house that has leaky ductwork that's leaking it all in the attic. You're just wasting your money.
Yes.
Might as well just throw it in the trash.
So we need a free estimate of kind of giving a total assessment of where our house is, and you're going to do that. So you're not going to just look at that. You're going to look at ductwork. You're going to look at insulation. You're going to, and I think that's really kind of the whole thing. And nothing against, like if a mechanic, he's going to look at just a certain part. Well, this isn't working, so he's going to be focused in on that. What I like when you come out. For a free estimate, by the way, 1-800-AIR-REPAIR, and just or go to JJBurkAir.com and check it out, or get you to come over. You're going to give a full assessment, and that's kind of what I like. It's kind of like a doctor that's going to give you the whole overview of what's going on, not this particular problem. Let's just get you fixed. And I think a lot of times people just want the quick fix. Okay,
oh, yeah.
Air conditioning's not working. Okay, it's this. Then just replace that, and you want to get the overall picture of the whole thing. So then we're really batting a lot better, because now I can know the full picture of what my house needs.
Yeah, and a lot of people in Lawton have crawl spaces. We have the older houses that have crawl spaces, and so we have returns down there that are leaking underneath the house. We have ductwork underneath the house that's leaking.
Cats have got in, raccoons.
Yeah, everything. I mean, I've crawled underneath there when I was a little bit smaller, crawled underneath the house, and when I was doing the work, and crawl underneath there and go eye to eyeball with an animal that wasn't happy I was there to visit. And so, you learn to crawl out quickly. And, but what we want the humidity in the house to be between 30 and 50%. That should be your goal. Dry heat, cold weather produces, it makes you have to turn your heater up. And so you have dry heat, and that really, so cold air is dry air. That's really the only way I know to say it. So cold air is dry air. How do we fix that? We fix it with humidification in different types. And there are all different types. What do you use a humidifier for? People say, well, I get it, 30 to 50%. It's not that big a deal. But it helps with dry skin, sinus congestion, dry throat, nose irritation, bloody noses. I know before in the wintertime, I thought, I got a bloody nose. What do I get a bloody nose for? Well, my sinuses are dried out, so it's not good. Vocal cords are irritated. You end up saying, I'm getting hoarse and I don't know why. Well, your heater's helping. You don't have enough humidity in your home. People have, oh my gosh, my lips are so cracked. I've got to get, Blistex and everything else that I can buy at the store. My lips are terrible and my skin is so dry. A lot of that a humidifier can help solve.
But that's what I'm saying. It goes back to we just blame it. It's the way we accept things a lot more without investigating any further and say, well, it's wintertime and that's what we expect. And to know that this can help and not be that way, I think that's great.
Yeah, and humidifier sizes are big for as you go to pick a humidifier. A lot of times you can get the room humidifiers, but it only does that room, and they're not cheap. So my suggestion is we can sometimes do a central humidifier that can be put on your home for the same price you go to a big box store and buy one that does just one room. And some of them will say, oh, it does 2,000 square feet. Well, yeah, it'll do 2,000 square feet if it's hooked up to where it can get to the return to blow it through the rest of the house. But those standalone humidifiers are just not what they're cracked up to be. Plus they're loud, plus they're in the middle of your house and they're ugly, and they suck in a lot of air, and so they produce dirt around your unit. It's not very pretty. Steam humidifiers have become the thing of that we start to see now. We've seen steam humidifiers introduced. Now, they produce a warm heat, and they steam humidify it into your ductwork. People are starting to love them. We sell them all the time. The biggest thing is they're electrically powered, but the kicker is they're probably the least expensive type that you can buy as a steam humidifier. So you want to make sure you get the right one for your home for the reasons that you need it for. And one thing it does is it controlling the humidity levels in the house helps with if you can believe this. I mean, dust mites. They don't like humidity, so we have more dust mites. We've got to make sure that we want something that's beneficial, that's going to make your house better. So it helps with dust mites, mildew, mold, harmful bacteria. If we can introduce that in there and keep that house, basically we want the inside of the house to be just like we would outside. We want our outside air clean. We go outside, none of us want to go into, you hear about these large cities that have smog. Yeah. Oh God, we're dying from it, Yeah. Well, we're killing ourselves inside our own homes because we don't think the same way.
Controlled environment.
Yeah.
Okay,
and so, the takeaways are it is good stuff. Humidifiers can, now, if they're not maintained, they're not any good. So if you think I'm going to buy a humidifier and I'm never going to have to do anything to it, don't buy a humidifier. Just stay away from it, and so adding humidifier to your home is important, but it also helps with the wood inside your home. If you've ever noticed the cracks in your ceilings and your plaster and in the wood materials, your crown moldings or your baseboards or your wood floors are starting to warp a little bit, that's a humidity level issue. So those are things to look for and make sure that in the winter, and here we are at wintertime, so it is time to start thinking, can I get my ductwork cleaned? And folks, it's not that expensive. I mean, we're doing one next week that's $240. It's not $1,000. I got to have my ductwork cleaned. Back in the day, it was. I will admit, back 5 or 6 years ago, it was expensive. Now, it's just gotten so much better, and the machines are so much better, and it doesn't mess up your house. People say, oh, what's it going to do? Do I need to move everything out of my house and cover things up with plastic? And no, this machine, we use Rotobrush. It has a big brush on the end. It brushes the inside of the ductwork, sucks it in through a vacuum hose that's hooked to the end of that as well, sucks it into a HEPA hose that goes into a HEPA bag. And we have actually done houses that we've pulled out 4 or 5 pounds of dirt out of a duct system.
Wow.
And so, but we not only just do your ductwork, we clean the motor on your heater. We make sure your evaporator coil is clean. So we're going to make sure this whole system is clean and ready to go. Clean your return ducts are. Some people think it's just their ductwork, but where the cold air comes back, or in the hot air in the summer where it sucks underneath the unit. It's usually if you have a unit that stands up inside your house, and you look down in that return. There's a return grill there. Have you ever looked down in there? Oh, if you have dogs or cats or anything, it's just full of stuff. I mean, it sucks everything in there, and it's a catch-all for everything. So we need to clean that out and make sure it's sealed up. But give us a call because it's something that we really need to discuss. As we want to be your whole home solution. You don't have to just say, oh, they just do heating and they just do air conditioning.
That's good.
We do much more than that.
Right. And it's a free estimate for you to come out. And this is a great opportunity transitioning from summer into fall into winter that you can be up. And then, of course, the PSO rebate program, the Center Point Energy rebate program, still in effect, but it's ASAP. Get to it as the money ran out in our area, but we're getting a little bit of borrowed from some leftover in the state. So give Jay a call. Free estimates, free. Jay will come out to you, just give you the complete assessment. And if you are granted for the rebate program, there's a third party that comes in and checks all that out and makes sure. So 1-800-AIR-REPAIR, or you can go online.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go online to JJBurkAir.com. And even if you want a duct cleaning estimate, we actually have a tab on there that says duct cleaning estimate. Click on that. Go through your house and count the number of registers you have in your ceiling, and then how many registers that actually pull the air back. Put that in there, what type of system you have, whether it's electric heat or gas heat. It'll ask you some questions. You put that in there. Was your system located in the attic or is it inside the house? You put that in there, and it gives you an estimate right there online. And all you do is send us a notice that you want to have it done. It sends it to us. We get you scheduled. And that's all there's to it.
All right. That's it. 1-800-AIR Repair, JJ Burke and the JJ Burke Home Show each and every Saturday morning. And that's it. Just like that. And we'll hopefully have some special guests with us in weeks to come. And enjoy your weekend packed full of stuff. We already talked about International Festival and so much more. So get out and enjoy Southwest Oklahoma.
Absolutely. See you next weekend.
Hi, I'm Jay Burke from J&J Burke Heating and Air. At J&J Burke, we just combined the rebates from PSO and CenterPoint Energy to save you thousands on the most energy-efficient systems available. J&J Burke is a 2014 PSO Partner of the Year for the entire state of Oklahoma. We are the best at getting you the rebates. So call us at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or go to jjburke.com and learn how you could save thousands today. I'm Jay Burke, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Join us this time every Saturday morning for the latest technologies and professional advice to help you save money around your house. This has been the J&J Burke Home Show.
I'm Jay Burke, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.